So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pointless Stories with Karshan FS. This is episode 21. So, we've had a certain topic that we've discussed or grazed upon slightly in the past, which is the favorite year of our life, the year 2006. And over the past week, we've had discussions on whether we should do an episode dedicated to it. Now, the problem with doing 2006 is that like you can see, we have great memories of in and around that time, and it's very hard to be able to bring that all together in one episode. And I'm still not sure if we can do justice to what 2006 was to us without any sort of preparation. But I guess the way we see it is we're just trying to remember it, as much of it as we can, and we'll do that now, and the rest as it comes up we'll do it. But 2006, which was 18 years ago, was the year. And I'll set it up, and there's a few things there are a few key points that I want to talk about, and the rest jo bhi hota hai. But I've said this before, Karsh and I used to be sworn enemies for a long time, up until the 5th grade. And the 6th grade is in 2006, and that's when we were put in the same class, and that's when we became friends. And there's a girl, and Valentine's Day is coming up, so I think we should remember that story as well, who is the reason we're best friends. But all that happened in 2006, and as I said a few episodes ago, one of the embarrassing things that I will admit is, we used to, before social media, Yahoo Messenger and MSN Messenger was like the way instant messaging was. We didn't have phones, we didn't have social media, so we kept in touch on instant messaging. Even though it was called instant messaging, it was really slow. Like, even if both people are online, it would take a long time to get a response. But the embarrassing bit about that is my email address at the time, which I thought was the coolest thing ever, was skateboardingfreak19 at hotmail.com. And आजकल भी यार बड़ी बुरे याद है उनकी. But I remember a few other usernames. The girl we're talking about, the wonderful woman who, I always pray that, she's with somebody else. कि सिर्फ वो लानत हमें नहीं चाहिए. But I remember her username, her email ID had the number 11 in it. Maybe I'm remembering that wrong. And we also had another friend, and I'm not sure who this belongs to, who had 420 in their email ID. But I'll set this up with just how we got these, and then I'll let Karsh, bring back memories of that time. But Karsh and I are the ones who did this, right? So the whole point, this was the beginning of the year. We wanted to talk to this one girl, the one from Valentine's Day. But we couldn't just ask her, like, it would be pretty, we had proper game even back then. So what we did was we printed out a paper, and we had everybody write their names and their email IDs and pass that around class, so everybody could get each other's contact details. And the entire, even in the process of bringing the entire class together on social media, on instant messaging, and God knows how many love stories that transpired, all we had was the selfish gain of wanting to talk to this one girl. And आजकल भी वो याद कर मुझे काफ़ी अच्छा लगता है कि हम सिर्फ लड़की से उसकी नंबर नहीं मांगते. हम गेम हमारे यार हमेशा था. मगर let's see what you have to say. Let's get this guy.
यार ये तो मैं ना बिल्कुल भूल गया था कि ऐसा भी हुआ था यार. पर अभी भी सोच के याद आ रहा है कि यार that's just the sort of thing we would do. Where it's like कभी यार कुछ कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोना भी पड़ता है.
यार well done. It's perfect. But also before we go into this, I want to remind Abki Bhabi that Karsh has been my wingman throughout my life, and I've only had one. And an example for this is the fact that right after the Valentine's Day go, this one time, you could also have group chats on IM, so this one time he invited me, like we would be on IM talking to each other very often. और कोई बंदों से हम ताल्लुक़ नहीं रखते थे, but this one time he did invite me to a chat. And I said, yo, what's going on? And he said to me, and there's somebody else, and there's an email ID I don't remember, like I hadn't talked to at that point. And he says, what's good, Holmes? And he's called me Holmes Lois for a while as well. So after saying that, he says, all right, I'll leave the two of you to it. And he just like fucks off, yeah? And that girl, and like it was beautiful because that girl, like he knew this, had like a thing for me, and he didn't just tell me, but then like he started playing the music and he said, yo, come on to the dance floor, and he left me there. But it was beautiful. Like he's a great wingman, and यार आज भी मतलब आजकल भी आपको अगर मदद करने तो कर लो, मतलब भाभी तो सुन रहे लाइक जो भी आप कर सकते कर लो, पर लाइक ही इज अ ग्रेट विंगमैन इन ऑल ऑनेस्टी. आई थिंक दैट्स व्हाई आई हैव नेवर नीडेड अनदर वन और हैड अनदर वन. वैसे हमने आज तक उतना भी लड़कियों से कुछ किया नहीं, मगर फिर भी काफ़ी खूबसूरत यार, काफ़ी कामयाब विंगमैन है
यार. ये मुझे याद है वैसे, पर हाँ ये भाई हम तो अभी भी तैयार है जो हम मदद कर सकते हैं आपको बनने के.
तारीफ कर लो काफी.
बिल्कुल यार, आपके लिए
नाम जो
पर नहीं यार, मतलब ये जो सीन है ना उस वक्त वो बंदी का यार, मुझे दरअसल पता नहीं था कि whether you know she liked you or she liked Scooby-Doo.
यार सही Scooby-Doo वैसे उसके लिए सही था भाई.
बिल्कुल यार, मुझे लगा कि दोनों गोवन है और दोनों
मतलब जमाने के हिसाब से वो एक कपल बनना था.
या मैं भी यही कहता था उनसे यार. और एक दफा स्कूबी-डू हमसे नाराज हो गया था.
क्यों?
और ये ओल्ड फिक्स की बात है यार, ये like peak 2006 thing. कि मुझे याद है यार, मैं 2 महीने छुट्टियों पे हम लोग गए थे, it was summer break,
right.
तो उस वक्त यार सब अलग-अलग जगह जाते थे
जी,
पर हमारी फिर टीम इंस्टेंट मैसेजिंग पे बात होते रहती थी.
सही.
तो मुझे याद है यार, मैं उस साल कनाडा में था, समर ऑफ 2006. और मेरी स्कूबी-डू से चैट पे बात हो रही थी याहू पे.
अच्छा.
और वो मुझे बता रहा था how like सब लोग मुझसे काफी नाराज हैं, and वो खुद भी मुझसे काफी नाराज था. कह रहा था कि आपने जो किया के बाद से I haven't been too happy with you.
मगर आपने किया भाई? कुछ किया नहीं.
और मैं ये सोच रहा था कि मैंने ऐसा क्या किया कि मुझे यार थोड़ा मैं घबराने लगा था, sitting on the other side of the world even. मुझे लगा कि मैं जब यहाँ से वापस जाऊंगा तो फिर क्या होगा, is like, are people gonna be upset, like ऐसा क्या हुआ? And then he, bro, you made that joke where you said that girl in our class, that she's pregnant with my baby. I was like, ये तो मजाक में कहा था, and then like, but apparently उस वक्त भी काफी बंदे थोड़ा बट हर्ट हो गए थे उसको देख के.
यार मैं भी इसकी हिस्सा था भाई. कि एक बार मुझे याद है कि ये जो हमारे वैलेंटाइंस डे बंदी है और ये बंदी जो आपने उसकी मजाक उड़ाया है ना, ये दोनों ने मुझे एक बार मतलब हमारे प्रैक्टिस, पता है याद है कि वो प्रैक्टिस चलते थे कि कोई इवेंट की या ऐसे कुछ, तो हम सब बाहर थे कि जो मतलब असेंबली ग्राउंड ऐसे वहाँ कुछ थे. और ये दोनों बंदियाँ आकर मुझसे कहा कि यार आप आ जाओ, आपसे कुछ ज़रूरी बात करना है. तो मैंने कहा अच्छा ठीक है. तो ये मेरे ग्रुप में कुछ नहीं था, तो मैंने उसके साथ गया और मैं एक क्लास, और उसके अंदर कोई भी नहीं, और मैं और 2 लड़कियाँ. तो मैंने सोचा यार कुछ होना है, मगर ऐसे कुछ नहीं हुआ. तो उसने बोर्ड पर ड्राइंग थे वहाँ सही, और एक बंदी है जो प्रेग्नेंट है. तो ये मतलब बात किसी और से भी हुआ था और वो मुझसे कह रहे कि यार जो आपकी दोस्त ने कहा ना वो बिल्कुल ठीक नहीं। तो मैंने पूछा यार क्या कहा बंदे ने, कौन दोस्त? और उसने कहा कि यार तो मुझे पता ही नहीं कि मुझे यार जो आपने कहा ना मुझे भी मतलब काफ़ी अच्छे मतलब जो कि मुझे लगा था यार कि यार सही था। मतलब आज भी मैं यही कहूँगा कि आर्टिस्टिक वैल्यू तो है भाई। तो कॉमिक टाइमिंग वैसे भी आपके काफ़ी खूबसूरत है। तो इसने मुझसे कहा यार, उसने कहा कि ये प्रेग्नेंट है और मतलब स्कूबी डू का बेबी है। तो मैं यार मतलब काफ़ी सीरियस माहौल है और मैं फिर भी हंस पड़ी कि मैं भूल गया था कि इतना अच्छा मतलब जोक आपने मारा था, मगर दोबारा सुनकर भी यार अच्छा लगा। और वो नाराज़ हो गई कि यार अब कैसे हंस सकते हैं। तो मैंने कहा यार इसमें कौन सी मतलब नाराज़गी की बात है। तो यार ऐसे तो है नहीं, वो तो सिर्फ मजाक कर रहे हैं। आप क्यों इतने पर्सनल ले रहे हैं? तो मतलब मुझे समझ ही नहीं आ रहा है कि ये तो यार ऐसे हम वैसे उस ज़माने में काफ़ी डार्क ह्यूमर की तब भी बंदे थे कि हमारे कोई लिमिट्स नहीं थे। हम जो भी like we always knew, you know, no matter what limit we're pushing, if it's funny, it's funny. You know, I don't know who said this, but किसी stand up comedian ने कहा था कि if it's funny you have to say it, right? It doesn't matter if it's hurtful or something like that. I think it was Dave Chappelle. कि if it's funny just say it, it doesn't matter. So I thought that way as well, but they actually made me sit through an entire like 15 minutes of why that is wrong. एंड तो मैंने उससे कहा हाँ हाँ मानता हूँ कि मैं भी यार थक गया था इसकी चूतिया पे सुनकर। तो मैंने कहा ठीक है मैं बंदे से बात करूँगा, सही। मगर मैंने यार क्लास छोड़ा और मैंने ना आपसे बात की ना मैंने कुछ याद की। मगर आज मुझे याद आ रहा है कि यार सही है कि काफ़ी मतलब ड्रामे थे यार सिर्फ स्कूल में। मगर यार जो समर की वेकेशन था तो आप I remember two things. One thing is Karsh actually went to Canada and came back as a completely different person. Like बंदे की काफ़ी मतलब लेवल तो चेंज हुए थे। दूसरी बात यह है कि मैं भी इस तरह मुल्क या कहीं ना कहीं था और मुझे भी IMs चेक करना था। और from a village, right? From a village that had no electricity. They're a UPS, so I logged into one of those old computers that runs Windows 95 and dial-up internet, right? Took me like 15 minutes, and this entire 15 minutes I had to be like hiding this from my parents and things like that. So I logged onto a computer, the internet from a village to check my IMs, right? To वैसे मुझे स्कूबी डू से बात नहीं करना था। I wanted to check on Valentine's Day कि उसने क्या भेजा था और उसकी रिप्लाई देना था। तो यार हम मोहब्बत के लिए काफ़ी कुछ की है भाई। हम I don't know if you've seen the memes like of a guy talking to his girlfriend and he's hooked up to a car battery, you know, that's how much he like it means to him. Like मुझे हमेशा लगता है कि यार जो मर्द की मोहब्बत है ना, कभी यकीन नहीं करो मगर यार हमेशा काफ़ी मतलब एफ़र्ट तो डालता है यार बंदे। मतलब बंदियाँ इतना ही नहीं करते। हम जिस तरह से वैसे हम दोनों जिस तरह से मोहब्बत करते हैं यार काफ़ी मतलब मशहूर है कि कोई नहीं कर सकता ऐसे। बट गो ऑन।
नहीं यार बात आपने बहुत ही कमाल कर दी यार। You put it better than I could have because वो एक बेचैनी सी होती थी हमें कि ना।
हाँ यार
जब 2 महीने की छुट्टियां होती थी या वीकेंड भी होता था तो हमें होता है यार we just have to get on the internet, log in and like start talking, to our friends. We couldn't be apart for even like a few hours,
Yeah, you always had that fear if you were missing a message, like if you hadn't replied to something.
हाँ यार, और इससे मुझे याद आया कि ऐसा होता था कि we would log on and you would get the other person's offline messages. That's what they would call that.
Exactly.
So, जो उन्होंने पहले के छोड़े हुए होंगे आपको, when you weren't online, get those as you. और वो देख के you would get really excited, to see the stuff that you
missed out on.
Yup, catch up on all those things. तो यार ये ज़माना बड़ा सही था वैसे, it was a good time. और 06 का तो मुझे खास याद है, पर मुझे ये नहीं पता था कि ऐसा भी हुआ था. They took you to a room and walked you through.
Yeah, so dumb, man. But there was another incident where you kind of slapped Valentine's Day girl and not on her face. वो यार मुझे उसके भी सुनना पड़ा कि you know what he's done and I'm like भाई मैं था वहाँ, मुझे क्यों बता रहा है. Like मुझे पता नहीं यार, हर मतलब यार जो भी आपने की ना, अगर खता है तो फिर भी हम आपके साथ है. कि बंदे ऐसे होते हैं यार, हमारे लिए यार कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता. मगर मुझे पता नहीं कि लोग मुझे कन्विंस करने में इतने वक्त क्यों ज़ाया करता है.
वाकई यार बड़ा फनी सीन है, पर मुझे कोई आइडिया नहीं था यार कि इस पे पूरी एक सीबीआई जांच भी हुई थी.
जी. और यार जो उस वक्त की जो स्लैंग था ना, कि मतलब हमारे लिए वो पहले ये like it was a introduction to it, but we used to say we used to ask if the other person was online by saying ONL and using the digit 9, and that was just new to us. BRB was new. TTYL was new, and it made sense then because you actually had to, tell somebody if you were leaving or whether you talk to them later, and actually asking someone if they were online meant something. But that was I think our like first introduction to what the Urban Dictionary is today. Like popular slang.
Yeah, man. The slang was so bad. I almost forgot about that, so you mentioned it, but the online 9 thing was so dumb.
So dumb. Like I told you, Bhabhi, about this, and I like हम तो एक ही उम्र की, and she's like, yeah, that was so embarrassing. मगर हम सब गुनहगार हैं.
ये तो कोई शक नहीं यार, but we all use that kind of internet slang. Like क्या होता था यार, there was, if I read it now I swear I'll cringe, like anything I wrote from that.
Dude,
but
okay.
We would use 4 instead of 4.
Yeah, dude, like I don't know, there's a stand-up comic, he's not very good, but he says, why do we have the symbol for at? Like we're just making it one letter shorter, what is the need for it, and I agree.
Yeah, that's a good point, honestly.
Yeah. But
and sometimes we would actually end up with the word longer.
That is also true. इतने चुतिया पे करते थे हम, सही है. I think we just thought it was cool. But do you remember what your username or what your email was back then? Because I'm sure you remember it, you're just not saying it.
मुझे एक का याद है यार वैसे. The MSN, I forgot what it was.
Right.
But I remember my Yahoo though.
What was it?
Maybe you threw up everything though, in case it's still out there, something on there all related to it.
Right. What do you mean? आपकी अब तक IMs 100 पड़ी है? किससे बात चल रहा है भाई?
नहीं यार पता नहीं, in case it was like linked to something or
Right.
But I haven't I don't remember my password or anything, मैंने खुद check नहीं किया है बहुत साल से.
हाँ यार मुझे भी वैसे हॉटमेल आजकल है ही नहीं, मगर सही है.
एक आपके कंप्यूटर टीचर होता है ना, who would have a joke about
that was so lame, man. Like when he made it, like मुझे तभी लगा एक तो बात ये फनी नहीं है, दूसरी बात यार अब तो मतलब इतनी उम्र का बंदा हो, कुछ अच्छे खासे बात हमें सिखा लो, तू कौन सी चूतिया है.
Oh bro, yeah, ये joke मैंने बहुत बार सुना था about a hotmail,
Yeah.
But यार वो बंदे का नाम क्या था?
Thomas. So it is computer science.
Yeah, Thomas. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Or 2006 also, just so I don't forget, I want to do the Valentine's Day story, but I'll do this one first, is when we had like iPods and we were really getting into music as well. So back in 2006, I think our favorite musicians would include the Backstreet Boys, the Eagles, who else? I think the most played song, and back then if you had like an iPod, like Apple had done the iPod Nano, the iPod Shuffle, which was the OG iPod, and the iPod Video had just come out in 06. So in an iPod Video you could see like your most played tracks, and back then, and I'll come back to this at the end, but like the most played song on my iPod was Summer of '69 by Bryan Adams. And
nice.
Yeah, I love that song. And the second most played song was Everything I Do, but also by Bryan Adams, who's Canadian. But also Bryan Adams, who toured Doha in 2006. And the other thing that I wanted to... Yeah, the Valentine's Day story. So I've said half of this before. But so there was this girl in our class who everybody was behind, and she was decent looking, I guess, for the time. And she was, to a certain degree, like somebody who had to be like wooed. You couldn't just make her, you couldn't just ask her out. You had to like woo her first. So Karsh and I were friends at that point. Like we did like sit next to each other. We did become close. But this was like she was a conquest that we set foot together on, and like it was like a gentleman's agreement. Whoever wins wins. But so what happened was we tried our best to woo her, and we both had our small wins. Like I remember this one time, I'm pretty sure you remember yours better, but like I remember this one time I walked into class and I was wearing a hat, and it was pretty early in the morning, so I just walked in. I went to the back of the class, and Karsh and I sat at the back. Which is also interesting because like our teachers did try to separate us, make one sit in the front and one in the back, and all we would do is we'd shout like diagonally across the class, so just to talk to each other. So the teachers decided it's better to keep these two idiots together, so we used to sit in the back. So I walked up to the back, and this girl, she's got a friend with her, and she's clearly saying very loudly, Fahad looks cute in that hat, and that's just so I can hear it, she doesn't need to say it that loudly for a friend. So we've had our small moments or wins like that, which made us think, we were kind of making progress, or gir rahe hai bandi. So yeah, kafi like the only way we couldn't do too much in class, so IMs was where it was all happening. Now I used to think that was me, and I always knew Karsh was also like messaging her like right after school, मगर हम दोनों ये नहीं समझे थे कि पूरे मतलब क्लास और ज़माने सब उसको मैसेज कर रहे थे. So her replies, like we had, I'm going to be honest here, हम काफ़ी बेवफा थे कि हमारे 3-4 चैट्स तो पड़े थे ओपन, और जब वो रिप्लाई करते थे हम उससे बात करते थे, तो उसकी बाद प्रेफरेंस थे, नंबर 2 थे, 3 थे, 4 थे, तो काफ़ी बंदियाँ थे उस ज़माने में. तो प्रेफरेंस के हिसाब से उसको रिप्लाई मिलते थे, और हम वैसे like we laid the net, जो भी उसमें अंदर आए तो अंदर आए यार, गिर गई तो गिर गई. So we were both making progress. We didn't talk to each other during this, but we knew कि दोनों की नहीं थे, कि वैसे काफ़ी सीनियर बंदे भी इसमें इन्वॉल्व हुए थे, काफ़ी like weird बंदे की 2-3 साल हमसे बड़े और इस छोटी बंदी के पीछे पड़े. Was always weird. So
हाँ, एक बंदा था यार उसका, मुझे भी name started with an H.
Yep, याद आ गया.
हाँ यार, ये मुझे भी याद है. I can't believe you remember that, bro. मुझे लगा कि आप भूल गए होगे इसके बारे में.
यार ये हमारे ट्रॉमा है.
वाकई में यार, that was so funny though यार. मतलब पता नहीं ये क्या हुआ और कैसे हुआ.
क्यों हुआ यार. मतलब मैं बताना चाहता हूँ कि खूबसूरत याद है, मगर नहीं है. Like this is proper trauma. like my therapist has said the same story, but so this is why we can't trust women. Like, I'm not even joking. We can't trust anyone because of stupid shit like this. But so we were messaging her, so हमें पता था कि कभी ना कभी इस लड़की को फैसला लेने तो ज़रूरी होंगे कि इतने लोगों को उसके पीछे लाइक मुसलसल या हमेशा नहीं रहेंगे ऐसे कि कभी ना कभी तो फैसला लेना है. Can't be, you know, the village whore forever. So I apologize for how mean I'm being, yeah, but बाकी सच थे. So I guess she just liked the attention, and you know, I'm not going to say who can blame her, like we are literally blaming her, but काफी basic था. So what happened is on Valentine's Day 2006, it was our first Valentine's Day. Like we had, I don't know, but like at that point we were 12 going on 13. So बाकी जो हमारे साथ स्कूबी डू के अलावा जो भी बंदे थे सब नालायक थे. they didn't figure out women yet. So हम सिर्फ 3 बंदे थे कि इसमें काफ़ी गौर कर रहा था, और बाकी सब फिर भी वो पेन फाइट वो सब चूतिया पे कर रहे थे. मगर यार उसकी पहले भी हमारे मतलब ताल्लुक़ थे लड़कियों से. फर्स्ट क्रश तो ये नहीं था, मतलब हम मोहब्बत तो इससे पहले भी की थी, ये सिर्फ पहला हार्ट ब्रेक था. तो मोहब्बत नहीं बुला सकते उनको कि क्रश थे एक ज़माने में उससे पहले भी. मगर so 2006 was when we were becoming teens, and we thought, you know, it was time for us to have like a girlfriend or like venture into this new forum or like new aspects of life where, you know, आजकल हम वहाँ से निकलने चाहता हूँ. मगर like so 2006 and Valentine's Day was a perfect setup, you know, like it was the first Valentine's Day where we could genuinely like ask a woman out or like tell her we have feelings for her, something like that. So everybody is kind of getting ready for it, pumped up for it. तो ये बंदी तो काफ़ी अच्छे like idea लेकर आई कि why don't we have like a secret Santa but with Valentine's Day cards, कि make it like a secret admirer thing like you see from Mean Girls and, you know, Gogol and Coco. But like literally you can make a card for the person that you like and give it to them and write your name on it so that person knows who you are and that you like them and nobody else does. So it was a great idea, right? So on the 13th of February, and Karsh remembered this the last time we did the episode, my parents' anniversary is also on Valentine's Day. So I went out, I left my house to buy 2 cards. One for the love story that is the reason that I'm alive, and the second, which is the love story which makes me want to crawl back into where I came from. So so I bought 2 cards, right? And उस वक्त तो हम उतने artistic बंदे भी नहीं थे कि खुद की कार्ड बनवा लूँ या खुद कुछ लिख लूँ. I just, you know, bought the card that said the closest thing to what I wanted to say. और यार ये shopkeeper जो था, हम उसकी काफ़ी अच्छे client थे कि we'd buy all the sports magazines and things like that. So he looked at me buying a Valentine's Day card and he's like, किसके लिए है? तो मैंने कहा मेरे लिए. And he's like, अच्छा तो ठीक है, हमेशा यहाँ से ही ले लो. तो मैंने कहा क्यों, मैं हर वक्त यहाँ से यार कार्ड लेकर जाएंगे सिर्फ एक बार ज़रूरी है. मगर वहाँ से ली थी, and all I did was, it was a card, it's like a Hallmark card, and I just wrote my name at the end. I didn't even like put a heart or like dot my I's and cross my T's, none of that, just put my name on it. And the next day we all show up in class and we're all proper excited. Like the 3 of us, the dudes and the girls, were all taking part. So what Miss Congeniality decided to do was have everybody stand outside class, and we all went in one by one, placed the card on the desk of the person who we liked, and then walked out. And then in the end we'd all go in together, so it was completely anonymous. But like it would also mean, you know, whoever got the most cards got their attention, and you know that was a game all along. So we all went in one by one, put it on. I put it on her desk, Karsh put it on her desk, and we walked out. तो उसके बाद यार हम अंदर गए and like we all had assigned seats, so we knew where everybody was at. So we went back to our desks, and I had a few on my desk, Karsh had a few on his. So we were going through them, and like मैंने पढ़े ही नहीं कि I just read the name and it wasn't her, right? None of them was her. So I was proper disappointed. My heart was broken. But then I look over at Karsh and he kind of has the same expression on his face. And I'm surprised ki, like we both look into each other's eyes and we're like, what the fuck is going on? Like if it's not me and it's not you, then what's going on? And we look over at Scooby-Doo. And Scooby-Doo...
Oh, God, like that one.
Yeah, like, exactly. जी, like absolutely. Like I was proper scared for a while कि कोई और नालायक बंदे नहीं हो सकते. And I'm like, नहीं यार, हमारे दोस्त है. वो उतने भी काबिल नहीं. We looked over at Scooby-Doo and it's not Scooby-Doo either, right? So then we're proper confused. So we look over at her, right? And she's just absolutely like got her, you know, fan following next to her, just reading all the cards that are on her table. She had a lot. So we're waiting for her to clarify what's going on. And after she's done soaking in all the affection, she says, you know what? I made the most beautiful card last night. I made it it was handmade. I wrote everything I wanted to write, and I even put my name at the end. I knew who it was for, but today when I woke up, I forgot to bring it with me, right? And that's when Karsh and I knew that this bitch was playing us, right? And हमें यार पहले मोहब्बत से मिलते हुए ही हमें बेवफा मिली. So we knew at that point in time that, you know, she's just craving the attention. Like, that's a very stupid reason. There's no way that's true. She's just fishing for likes, you know. So it was at that point that we decided two things. One was, you know, to become like that entire like sequence of events made sure that our friendship got stronger, and that's how we became best friends. And the second thing we kind of decided, but without actually deciding or saying it out loud, is that we'd never let a woman come between us. And in all these years, despite having the same preferences and the same high standards, that's never happened. Like, we've never like lost any love because of a woman that the two of us liked. But that was my recollection of the Valentine's Day story. But go ahead, but let me see what you think of the same shit.
No, man, I'm just impressed at how much you remember. Like, these are things that happened like forever ago, like coming up on almost 20 years ago, man, you know? Like 2 decades.
Yeah.
And you still remember it down to like the smallest detail, man. It's honestly crazy. But yeah, dude, it was you're right, these are like proper traumas, you know? Like, this stuff was it was a story of heartbreak and like just, you know, finding out कि दुनिया भी कितनी कमीनी हो सकती है, you know, and like at such a young age, you know, it's like it wasn't a good it was a learning experience, but like definitely a negative one.
Yeah.
और कुछ सीखा भी नहीं साथ में.
Yeah, वाकई. But I remember it because, you know, it was a heartbreak, and like आज भी यार वो बेवफा से, like the biggest hang up I have in any relationship is loyalty, or I'm sure this has something to do with it.
I bet, man, you know, because our experiences, having experiences with like infidelity that early, you know, it's like it definitely, you know, makes you value people who are loyal and who are like genuine, you know. You develop a disdain for people who are two-faced, you know.
Exactly. And just a couple of things I want to say here. My favorite thing about your hubby is that she's incredibly loyal. And the second thing that I want to say is hold on, shit, lost my train of thought here, but the girl and the heartbreak and everything, right? Fuck, I lost my train of thought. What were you saying, buddy? You had a good point.
Our first experience with heartbreak, how like the reason we value loyalty is because we met like disloyal people so early on.
True. So I think since yeah, exactly. So what happens the first time we figure this out, like the moment of realization, just so I don't know who's listening to this, but what actually happens is in your head you've got an image built up with this girl where you're spending an eternity together, and every time she messages you, you think, you know, she's just talking to you and you're special to her, and all the things she says mean something, all the things you say mean something. And then when you find out something like this, that's really when your heart breaks. That's when you realize that none of it was special. That's why disloyalty hurts so much. That's why it's like trauma, because everything that you valued, you kind of understand that it was nothing and it becomes completely worthless and you've been played. And that's why heartbreak definitely hurts, but like loyalty and disloyalty, like BFI hurts so much because of that one aspect.
Hey, really, that's so true, man. I think that's why it's like finding out that an OnlyFans girl has other fans, you know? It's like when you find out that you're not the only guy she's talking to, that can hurt, you know?
Yeah.
And you're never gonna be the same after that realization.
Absolutely. When you realize that the woman you love is a whore, there's no coming back.
There's no bouncing back for that one.
No, absolutely not. And also, like the conversation we had before, like about with our friend, and like when he asked you on a call whether a beautiful girl is always beautiful. Another argument we had on that call is about OnlyFans, and that was a long time ago. That was like 2018. Since then, we've been hating on OnlyFans. So to anybody who thinks, you know, like everything that's going on, we don't really diss on it a lot. We hate it. Like, we hate the fact that, you know, OnlyFans is a thing and Tinder's a thing. We hate all of it.
Oh, really? It's just changed. Like how we like interact with each other. I feel like, you know.
Yeah, love is transactional now. Like, give me your credit card.
It is, man.
I'll talk to you.
Exactly, man. It's really sad to see that. You know, like even something as sacred as, you know, love and like relations are transactional and like monetized.
Yeah.
That really sucks, you know?
And I also hate the opportunity that this has provided for so many, like, women to just, you know, branch out and become, you know, well-recognized whores. But also men यार काफी नालायक है बंदे कि it's normal, like हम दोनों I was just about to say हम दोनों single है मगर like वैसे like neither of us are married, right? But like we're not desperate. Like हमारी भी standards है भाई. Like I'm not that desperate to talk to you or to have company in my life that I would, you know, pay you to spend time with me. And that's basically prostitution at some point. You know, you've invented the world's oldest profession. But like the fact that we keep their standards and a lot of men don't make me very angry at men. And the fact that so many women have basically, you know, become modern day whores also angers me a lot. But 2006, buddy, we kind of lost track. This same girl also, like this one time, Karish and she left her water bottle in class, and this was after Valentine's Day. So Karish and I filled her water bottle up with dirt from the playground, right? So she came back really thirsty, took a sip of water, and she tasted the earth. And it was just the two of us and a bunch of girls in the class, so she knew it was us. So she looks over at me and she's like really angry, figures I've done this. So she takes my bag, right, which has my iPod in it, the iPod video that I was talking about, and throws it against the wall. And I didn't think anything of it. Like, who would throw like a bag at a wall, right? What are you trying to do? Like, my books are in there, I don't care. But then that's when I realized my iPod's in there, and then I take a look and my screen's cracked, man. And that bitch not only broke my heart, but she also broke my iPod. And I'll tell you one last thing, buddy. I told your hubby this story, and I told her very early on about this story. And like, I'm a horrible person in this story as well, yeah, because I literally filled up a girl's water bottle with mud. But she tells me, you know, your bhabhi tells me, you know, that's not, you know, warranted. Like I'm with you on that one. That bitch deserved that. Like there's no way she should have done that to her iPod. And I was always in love with her. I loved her a lot more since then.
Yeah, man, that shit was not called for, you know? That was like, it was, and she didn't have any, like, regrets about it, didn't seem to feel bad about it or anything, you know?
Yeah.
She was just so smug about the whole thing. And, yeah, man, she was really cunty, and, you know, that's really I think you're right, you know? It's just, she's always just attention-seeking from the start, you know?
Yeah.
And people talk about red flags, and now these days, like, she had all the red flags, you know? Like, her whole forehead was red. And
she also was in Rose's house, man.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, man, so was I, though.
Oh yeah. But you're not walking red flag. She was.
Yeah, definitely not, man. She had so many red flags, and we missed all of them, you know, until they all hit us in the face that one evening.
Yeah.
But yaar, ye aisi bandiyan yaar, you know, life taught us that we would meet bandiyan like that, you know, who are just going to play you, and they're just going to, like, you know, see whatever they can get away with, those type of girls.
Yeah. And yaar, hamare us zamane mein, like, we had watched, you know, movies with Lindsay Lohan in them where she's a wonderful woman. और इस तरह की portrayals नहीं था यार kids movies में, तो हम जानते भी नहीं थे.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल हमें पता भी नहीं था कि दुनिया इतनी काली हो सकती है, you know.
यार वाकई.
ये मसला तो है यार. हम शुरू से बहुत ही पाक साफ थे क्योंकि हम, you know, we grew up on like the purest shows where things are generally nice, you know, like, you know, iCarly, if you remember that show.
Oh, I remember iCarly, man. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like we were यार हम हमेशा नीयत की बड़ी साफ थे.
हमेशा से यार, मतलब जो भी कहें यार, our intentions were always in the right place, you know.
Yeah. But
ये बात तो है bro.
ये दुनिया बड़ी मतलबी है भाई.
हाँ bro, ये बहुत यार कुतियापा बहुत है, you know, in the world.
जी. और यार जैसे अपने नुसरत से शुरू की थी, नुसरत की एक लाइन है कि मतलबी दोस्त है, मतलबी यार है. सही है सब
यार. कमाल bro. ये नुसरत से यार, मतलब even today he's such a legend, you know.
Yeah, very relevant.
और आपको यार क्योंकि हाँ, and very relevant, you know. एक बंदी तो है who like really personifies the song.
Yeah.
But शुक्र है यार कि we're not around people like that anymore, you know. And उन सब में we met them early on in life, so we'd be prepared for, you know, उनकी तरह जो गिरगिट की तरह जो लोग रंग बदलते हैं.
Oh यार खूब. सही है. And I guess you know, we started off really with, we couldn't do any worse, you know. उसकी बाद हमारी तरक्की होने थे.
ऐसे ही बिल्कुल.
And I think our love for Pakistan kind of comes from that. कि मुझे कभी यार ऐसे नहीं लगा कि पाकिस्तानी बंदियाँ इस तरह भी हो सकता है, कि जो हमारे साथ था वो काफ़ी नालायक था यार, और इतने खूबसूरत भी नहीं. मुझे नाराज़गी इस बात से आ रहा है कि जिस लड़की की बात हम कर रहे हैं ना, वो इतने खूबसूरत भी नहीं था यार.
कसम यार, you know, she was like
6, 7 out of 10.
Aggressively average.
Yeah. 7 out of 10. Best day of her life.
Bilkul, yeah. But she had a very big ego, you know, and I think
also a very big forehead.
Oh man, my regret is that we inflated that ego with our, you know,
attention. Yeah, we should have been mean to her.
Definitely, man. Matlab,
dude, I think we are Regina George in this story. You know, कि हमारे पास सब था और हम मेहरबानी की एक लड़की की और उसने हमारे माँ बहन कर दी.
Oh bro, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल हमारा total lunch सुनना एक हो गया था, you know?
Mean Girls from the other perspective.
Oh man. पर चले अच्छा है यार, मतलब ऐसे तजुर्बे भी हमारे होने चाहिए थे और early on हो गए ताकि we were prepared for life what was to come.
Yeah.
पर उसके अलावा और बंदियां भी थी क्लास में जिनको हम इतना we wouldn't really think about them much. जैसे एक थी, there was you remember Sanjana?
Dude, I was just thinking about her cause like वो यार काफी अच्छी बंदी थी. एक तो बात ये है काफी funny थे और मुझे यार हमेशा like she was really nice to me as well. She used to have nicknames for me and we used to make fun of her with Harrison. Like Harrison, I think one of the reasons he left school was because we used to keep referring to him as Miss Akela, which was so mean.
Oh my God, dude. लेकिन मैं वही कहने वाला था कि संजना को सबने अकेला ही छोड़ दिया
यार. Oh God, dude, that is very well thought out. Nice. यार किसी ने मतलब वो बंदी तो मेरे बस में था यार और हमेशा मेरे पास आकर बैठता था, मुझसे बात करता था, मगर यार मुझे उस वक्त में ही समझ आया कि यार पर्सनालिटी में कुछ खास बात नहीं. मतलब मोहब्बत में होते हैं भाई.
ये तो मैं समझ सकता हूँ ब्रो, क्योंकि इसके अलावा भी एक दो और चीजें हैं जो काफी जरूरी होती हैं.
हाँ और यार मेरे लाइक काफी लोगों ने मतलब काफी ट्राई की हमारे बात होने में कि women they do this thing where they'll make up rumors, they'll try and you remember the like they put your names together and say sitting in a tree. You remember that stupid song?
Yep.
Yeah,
of course.
So many times that has happened with like that's just women trying to set you up with one of their friends. But हम कहाँ सुनते भाई, हमें तो पेट से कोई लेना देना नहीं.
ऐसा ही है यार, हमारे तो यार we never really cared much about the other girls. We just wanted to go for the main prize, the princess.
यार सिर्फ मुझे ये बताना है कि जो आपने शहजादी की बात की है कि आपके भाभी को घर पर शहजादी बुलाते हैं.
Oh bro.
Serendipity.
यार शहजादी तो वैसे यार it's a really nice thing to call someone, शहजादा या शहजादी.
हाँ, मुझे हमेशा मेरे घर वालों की मतलब बड़ी नाराजगी होती है ये सुनकर कि वो तो मुझे कुछ ऐसे नहीं बुलाते कि मैं गर्व से मतलब भाभी को बता सकता हूँ कि मुझे घर पे ये बुलाते हैं. नहीं
नहीं यार, ये तो कई बार क्योंकि जो डोमेस्टिक नाम होता है
काफी मतलब लल्लू खूब मतलब बदसूरत नाम होते हैं भाई. बबलू ये सब चीज़ें होता है
जैसे चिट्टू.
हाँ यार छोटे ये सब बुलाते हैं.
गोलू भी होता है यार.
ओ यार गोलू मोलू ये सब होते हैं भाई, मगर मतलब कुछ अच्छे तो रखते हैं तो यार हमारे भी कुछ बात बनते हैं.
यार मेरा भी कोई नहीं है वैसे, even I've never had a nickname.
Nice.
आप लोग कई बार उत्कर्ष नहीं बुलाते थे यार.
ओ यार वो तो मैंने तो कॉइन नहीं कि उतना मतलब उतना like low class names हम भी नहीं करते हुए कि that's so basic. But यार वैसे मुझे याद है कि आपकी नाम वक्त के हिसाब से बदलता रहता था कि आप आज तो कर्श एक ज़माने में माइमून था, तो ऐसे बदलता रहता था.
ये तो है यार, हमने तो यार नाम भी बहुत बदले हैं और कहानियां भी बहुत बदली हैं और
सब बदले हैं.
ये बिल्कुल रोल भी बहुत बदले हैं
जी.
पर नहीं यार, ये बात तो है. एक टाइम में हम क्या कहते हैं कुछ I've played many different roles, many different characters.
Yeah.
पर माइमोन भी का एक जमाना था bro. लोग मेमन समझते थे. They thought it was मेमन, you know.
यार काफ़ी मतलब एक तो बात ये है कि भाई हमारे जो दोस्त है सब नालायक है, उसे बताना पड़ता है कि जो आप कह रहे हैं उसकी मकसद क्या है. सही है. मगर यार 2006 तो इसके अलावा भी एक बात ये था कि जो हमारे क्लास टीचर थे वो एक नया बंदा था और उसे मतलब हमारे जो सेक्शन फॉर्म हुए थे कि वो नए थे. That's why Karsh and I were in the same class. He was in A, I was in B, and they brought us into C. Like they wanted to like diversify, I guess, make our class was getting bigger, I guess. So a few people from here, a few from there, and we were all put together, right? And the dude who came to teach us was new, and he was like, he didn't know our history or who we were, so he came in, you know, like Robin Williams in Dead Poet Society. He wanted to change the world. He believed in what he was doing. And that man, you know, despite, like everybody else had preconceived notions about us, not just us, every kid in that class, ki Scooby-Doo's an idiot, you know, these two, ye dono bande sunte nahi. But he didn't. He genuinely believed, you know, he could change the world one classroom at a time. And he believed in us. He tried his best to help us, and we didn't listen too much. But we saw, you know, his heart was in the right place. So that person for that year and the next year, he was the dude who was in charge of us. And everybody was against us. Like, we were the section that nobody gave a shit about. But he stood for us, you know, he fought for us. And yaar, kabhi sirf very few times in life there is somebody in life who actually will do that for you. And to this day, we appreciate that dude, man.
Man, that was honestly beautiful, and like these are words of appreciation that I wish I'd come to realize much sooner. You know, at the time, I don't think either of us realized just how, like, you know, how hard he was working to see us do well, and how like a lot of the criticism that or, you know, people leveled at us, it was also directed at him because he was our class teacher.
Yeah.
But man, I'm glad like we reached you know, a level of insight and maturity where we could actually appreciate the stuff he did for us.
Yeah.
Because he was a really nice guy, man.
He was, and do you remember one of my first memories is so he was teaching us, you know, geography. By the way, geography really bored us back in the day, but आजकल हम फारिग वक्त में geography खुद करते हैं. But he walked into the class and he said, you know, I'm going to have to pick like a leader or like a representative from you lot. And so he I remember like there were 6 dudes and he picked Rishabh, right? Which was fine. Like, it was normal for a class teacher to pick, you know, a class pet or something like that. Didn't think too much of it. But I went home and there's a phone call. और जब भी यार स्कूल से फ़ोन कॉल आते हैं तो मैं खुद आंसर करता हूँ और बताता हूँ कि घर पे कोई नहीं. सही? Because that happens very often. So, but it was him and he said, listen, can I talk to your parents? And I said, yeah, but it's like the first day and I knew for sure कि उस दिन मैंने कुछ खता की नहीं थी. सही? So I'm like, यार क्या हुआ? Like, did somebody complain? And he's like, no, I just want to talk to your parents. So I said, oh, I gave it to them. And he said, listen, I'm new to the school and everything, and I kind of made a mistake. I want to apologize and I'll set it right tomorrow, right? And like, I didn't know what he was on about. But the next day we turn up and he said, you know, yesterday I picked a few people from here, but that it's not, like, he came to this realization on his own that it wasn't right for him as somebody who teaches, you know, civics and the importance of democracy to not implement that. So what he said was, I let you choose who your leaders are. And he actually had like a vote. And I don't know why, मगर मेरे काफ़ी haters थे. So I ended up being the leader, right? Like they actually chose me, knowing very well that एक तो बाद में काम करना नहीं चाहता, दूसरे इन चूतिए की लीडर्स तो मैं बनना भी नहीं चाहता था, मगर यार मुझे बड़ी खूब लगा कि he not only saw his mistake but also admitted it. Like काफी साफ बंदा था यार.
बिल्कुल, yeah. I mean, he had a very pure heart, and like I've never seen him like act with malice or with ill intention.
Yeah.
He always had like everyone's best interest in mind when he did something, like especially when it involved students.
Yeah.
But हाँ यार, मतलब ऐसे बंदे बहुत कम होते हैं, who are like genuine and down to earth. We were lucky to have a teacher like that, and हमारे और भी ऐसे थे यार teachers who were really caring, and like there's one teacher who he never taught me, but he did teach other grades, and he taught you guys as well after I left. The English teacher, I can't remember his name.
Umesh?
Umesh, yeah, Umesh.
Yeah, he was nice. But, dude, I think I want to come back to Umesh and English teachers, but I think you are in a position today where you can kind of see, you can compare yourself as to the teachers that taught us. And I think, like, to be honest, I think you also appreciate, how much impact a good teacher can have on your life, like Dead Poet Society. I was about to say this when we had that discussion, ki every day you're granted the opportunity to become Robin Williams for, a bunch of kids. Still there?
Oh man, yo, can you say that last part again? Sorry, yeah. There's I'm only getting one bar right now.
No problem. But I was just saying, having come through this ourselves and like learn to appreciate our teachers, you are in a position where you can see, what you are and what kind of impact you will have on kids and how they grow up. Like years from now, they will be talking about you, right? And the kind-hearted person you were and how much you believed in them. But I'd like to hear what you think about that. But also, I think you genuinely, like when we talked about Dead Poet Society, I think you're kind of Robin Williams, like you kind of go outside the treaded path and you teach people to believe and to believe in themselves and to look on things as to how they see them personally. But I want to get into this, but we're almost at the hour mark, so I think we'll do that on the continuation of this. I think this should be a two-parter, would you reckon?
Yeah, let's do that. I think that's smart. It's like a continuation, right?
Yeah. What do you want to call this one?
We covered a lot of themes in this one too, but for the most part it was summer of 06. How about that?
Summer of 06 is a name that Coach told me about earlier today, and it's honestly like perhaps one of the cleverest things that I've read today, and I absolutely love it. I just wanted you to take credit for it, but it's wonderful. This was Pointless Stories with Karshan FS, episode 21, Summer of 06, part 1. We'll catch you in part 2.